Gratitude is the key. In this educational episode, I'm going to address how to break free from captivity and enjoy a life of peace and abundance. Get ready. I'm going to give you a little bit different take on the difference between scarcity and abundance mindsets. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been helping individuals, families, businesses, and institutions in the empowerment of what I call their authentic wealth. My wife, Sherry, and I have been married as of the recording of this episode for 48 and a half years. We are blessed with 6 children and now 20 grandchildren. My wife and I also have devoted thousands of hours mentoring troubled youth. And I'm going to show you that when we meet with a lot of these youth, and some of them have done some really bad things. For 5 years, we helped teenage boys that were incarcerated. They were gangsters. They were in lockdown facilities because they'd been out attempting homicides and what have you. And also, I have sat on a board for teenage suicide prevention. Many of these youth are in physical captivity. They're in jail. I have also been a speaker many times at adult prisons. But I've found there's a common denominator between those people who are in physical captivity in sort of a prison environment. And as a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist for nearly 5 decades, there are a lot of people that I have met that they are worth not only millions, but billions, and they are in captivity too. It's caused by their money. So there's this common denominator, and sometimes the suicide rate among these super mega wealthy people is just as high as with some of these teenagers. Sometimes these wealthy people, they could, spend $10,000 an hour for the rest of their life and never put a dent in their net worth. And they're some of the most miserable people I meet, okay? So let me go through in this episode and just show you why gratitude is really a key difference. But I'm going to explain the difference between captivity, whether it's physical or financial, spiritual, emotional, mental captivity, and freedom type of a mindset. And as I alluded to, it's sometimes the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. So I'm going to super simplify here. I've noticed that we go through life, and oftentimes we see ourselves as here. Now, that's in the present moment, and we can't wait till we get there, okay? Whatever there is. When we are young, we can't wait until we get there into kindergarten, and when we finally get there, we can't wait till we go to a full day of school and get school lunch. We get there, and we have about 3 of those school lunches, and we go, what was that all about? And then we can't wait till we get to be the king of the school, maybe 5th or 6th grade. And then we get there, and if you haven't noticed, the school system sort of goes through these cycles, and you get demoted. Now you're being made fun of in a middle school or a junior high school because you can't find your locker or whatever, and you can't wait till you're the king of that school. And when you get there, then you're demoted, and now you're a freshman or sophomore in high school, and then you can't wait till you graduate from high school. Now, I've been honored to be a keynote speaker at different high school graduations, usually because some of these high school graduates get scholarships for entrepreneurship. And so I usually go and I will speak to them, and they might get just $1,000 scholarship, and I'll show them how to take that $1,000 scholarship and turn it into $1 million in less than 10 years instead of blowing it on consuming, a motorcycle or whatever, and how they can be an entrepreneur. And I've helped many teenagers take just $2 and turn it into $1 million enterprise within 10 years because they bought gas and oil for a lawnmower, or young ladies bought some ingredients, made a pizza and sold it for $6. And it's just compounding. It's the parable of the talents in the New Testament, okay? And so it's interesting when these high school graduates, throw their cap in the air and they go, we're there. We know it all. Well, I guarantee you about 3 months later, they're on some college campus and they're like this. And they can't wait till they finally get there and they graduate from college. And they graduate from college and then they can't wait till they get a job and then a better job and then a car. They turn in their clunker for a Tesla and then they want a home and a better home and a boat and a motor home and a cabin and a condo. And somehow they're going to be happy when they get there. Okay. So this is sort of a captivity scarcity mindset. So I'm going to simplify this. I have discovered that the key is being grateful and happy for wherever you are at in your life, okay? And so when I mentor these troubled youth, sometimes I'll put this triangle or pyramid on the screen, and I do this with my audiences, adult audiences, and I'll say, let's say this represents humanity. And just for the sake of ratios or numbers, I'll say, out of about 7.6 billion people on planet Earth right now, or let's say, some estimate there's been about 70 billion people live on planet Earth since Adam and Eve, let's say. And so just for the sake of ratios, I'll say, out of all the people on planet Earth today, or who have ever lived on planet Earth, do you know most people would look at you and me and our lifestyles, our indoor plumbing, our cars, our technology, our smartphones, and they would say, what do you have anything to complain about? You're already there, okay? The pharaohs of Egypt would have given their eye teeth to have a flush toilet, okay? And so we're in the top 0.1% of humanity when you look at what we have. And yet, I travel a lot, and I see irresponsible adults throw tantrums because the Wi-Fi goes out on the plane for 10 minutes and they freak out. It's like, ugh! And give it a few seconds, it still has to go to outer space and back. I see kids throw tantrums because they can't figure out how to open their second bag of Cheetos because their hands are too greasy from their first bag of Cheetos. I know a gentleman that had a 27,000 square foot mansion with a huge room in it, which is bigger than most families live in Korea, where I lived a couple of years. And that room is just for one of his kids' Lego villages. And that kid is never happy, and he has anything he wants, okay? And so my point is this: happiness should not be contingent on some future result. Is the drama in life more important than being happy for wherever you are at, okay? So let me just go on a few side trips here for a moment to help you understand what I'm talking about. Would you agree we're happy because of what we are, not because of what we have? A lot of youth think that happiness comes from owning things, okay? They worship things. Others worship people, movie stars, rock stars, athletes. Others worship their thoughts, and they think that they're dumb, or somebody says, how come you're so stupid? And so they think they're stupid, and so they want to end their life because they do not see a brighter future. They are in a captivity mentally, okay? Happiness comes from producing values, not consuming values. When you're out in motion producing, that's where happiness comes from, not from just consuming and having more and more things to consume. Unfortunately, many people choose to go deep into shallow things. I'm going to pick on social media. It can be a benefit, but it can also be a huge hindrance. It's where a lot of these kids get suicidal thoughts because they're comparing themselves to what's posted on Facebook. And these people are always talking about the great things that are going on. And to them, their life, in their vernacular, sucks. And so they go deep into these shallow things, and it influences them, and they get caught in this mindset, a scarcity mindset of what they don't have instead of looking at what they do have, okay? Well, the reverse is also true. Some people choose to go shallow into the deep things, the eternal life-changing principles where, you're the captain of your own soul and you can determine your own destiny. You actually have a choice. Whether you're happy or not is basically up to you. But sometimes these youth, they don't get that, and it even transfers into adults, okay? And so I have discovered in life you can choose to marinate in degrading things, and a lot of these youth who are in trouble, that's where they've been spending their time, is in very degrading things. To be honest with you, I've taught the 12-step program to addicts. And when you talk about those who have addictions, I'm going to simplify it here, and it's really not simple, but basically when they are worshiping things or other people or their thoughts, and they're not getting relief from the pain they're feeling, they don't realize that they could release endorphins naturally out of the pituitary gland of their brain to have them feel good, high, as they would put it. Instead, they choose to use external things, and they shoot up, it wears off, they drink, sex, pornography, shopping, sugar, eating, most addictions. You're trying to escape from the pain. Now, what do they really want? They want to feel loved, accepted, peaceful, okay, when they're frustrated. We all want that, okay? The destination is correct. They just get on the wrong train. And so getting them on the right train is the difficult part, because they get addicted to the drugs and alcohol and what have you. When it wears off, they have to have more and more, okay? And so, but oftentimes they begin by marinating in degrading things, but you can choose to marinate in uplifting things. So on this three-dimensional wealth channel, and I've written some books to talk about how do you do that? How do you teach those that you care about? Your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, or your students, those that you care about, to do this. And so that's what this is all about. So I'm going to give you a little hint here. What I like to do when I teach my kids and grandkids and these troubled youth is to realize, first of all, we're already there. Especially in America, we're already blessed, okay? Some of these boys in prison, when I get through talking about this, they go back and they appreciate the flush toilet that they have that is theirs in their jail cell. They never looked at it before. They were always looking at what they don't have instead of what they do have. So it's all a mindset. Once you understand that we're already blessed, then there are 4 freedoms that we have in America that most people on planet Earth have never enjoyed. Okay? And so I teach my kids and grandkids not to take these freedoms lightly. The first freedom is freedom of time, to be able to spend time as you see fit. A lot of people, they have spent their waking hours trying to get rid of that pain down there. We have freedom of time in this country. The second freedom is that of money. I'm going to say money, but it's really self-reliance. It's the ability to go out and create value, work, you're rewarded, you take care of yourself, you can be self-reliant, you don't have to work 24/7 unless you want to work that long, and you'll be rewarded accordingly, okay? But we have freedom to go out and basically be self-reliant instead of government-reliant or what have you. The third freedom is freedom of purpose. To determine your purpose every Monday morning, every beginning of every week. I love the freedom of determining my purpose. A lot of people have never had that freedom. And the last freedom is that of relationships. To choose who you hang out with. Now, there's a lot of people that have lived on this earth that have not had that freedom. They're stuck with who they're stuck with. And unfortunately, they are surrounded by a bunch of scarcity-minded people. Well, we have the freedom to be able to break free from that and choose relationships. These are the 4 sort of entrepreneurial freedoms we have in this country. And that's why I teach these at our family vacations with a purpose, with our kids, with our grandchildren at our annual Grandpa's Camp, because I want them to have gratitude. It's the key to having tremendous freedom and exercising these 4 freedoms and not taking them for granted. So if this is resonating with you, I would love to gift you a copy of this book. Now, it's titled Entitlement Abolition. It's 200 pages. And then I have like 18 hours of video that talks about this. But In this book, I explain how you can shift those you care about into this freedom abundance mindset. And I talk about gratitude, and there's an exercise in there to do that. But you can claim your free copy by going to Entitlement Abolition book.com. Click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost. I will pay for the book. You don't have to pay $20 for it on Amazon. I'll fire out a hard copy to you. There's also options if they're in there if you see some of my other books that you want to package together in a bundle. If you like to listen and learn, watch and learn, check it out. We have a lot of educational webinars that we do that are free. But this is about you and your abundant future.